All right, here it is, one of the probably the most anticipated figure of the Power of the Primes Wave 1, outside of the Primes themselves. Here it is, Voyager GRIMLOCK, who got here. Today he comes with his instruction manual, and also Quintus. Both of my Voyagers came in the same case, and are both Quintus. I wonder if that's a thing, because both the Dreadwinds that I picked up from the same case were both Onyx. So I don't know if there is any sort of correlation within the case of what characters come with which cards, but both Voyagers in this case came with Quintus powers, and with GRIMLOCK he seeds worlds with bots of unimaginable strength is his power. Which I guess kind of makes sense. Now he does, unlike the generic ones, he does have an actual picture of Volcanicus, the actual control art for Volcanic, or the promo art for Volcanicus, although it does have Sludge and Snarl swapped here in the things. That's clearly Snarl and that's clearly Sludge, but you know, whatever. There's how the feet connect his heels, and then the transformation to the torso and all that good stuff, which we'll get to after we deal with GRIMLOCK himself. Now, before we get to the rest of him, I know everybody wants to see what he looks like with other dinos, so here he is with Slash, Slug, and Swoop. They make a nice little dino team, although it does make me very anxious for Sludge and especially Snarl, if you know me. As Bolt Matrix even called out, it's like, hey, we got a dinosaur for you, because I like Stegosaurus. But yeah, there they are as a group as Dinobots, and they look really well. They look really nice together. They go together very well here in dinosaur mode. And as for Dino mode himself, he does have ball joints here at his little dinosaur arms. There's a little cutaway there at the bottom, so you can kind of angle him down a little bit. Not a huge amount of posability. They're just solid pieces on the ball joint, but you can move his arms around. His head does look up and down. His mouth does open. He's got ratchets there at the hip, a knee there. I don't know why you'd want to bend his leg back like that, but you can. The tail does click. It's a very solid clicking there at the joint, because those are going to also be his combined mode knees. You do kind of want to hold these together because these tab in to the legs to hold them together. But so you can have him in either the more straight-backed T-Rex mode, which is a little iffy, or if you want him in his more tail dragon G1 mode, you can do that as well. Now the tail is not as bad as I thought, because I thought it got a lot skinnier than this, where these folded out, and it does get a little skinnier, and it is a little bit of a thick tail, but it doesn't look nearly as horrifying as some of the side shots made it look like it was just going to be this horribly chunky thing back here. And while it's chunky, it's not quite as... I thought it went from this, and then this stuck out a whole lot, and these were just skinny little pieces coming out the back, and you can see it kind of widens out here. So it tapers a little bit more naturally than I thought it was going to. It's still a thick tail, but it doesn't change sizes as much as, say, like his upper body does here at his hips. He does have kind of a dino diaper on. That's really... I wish they had made either this slightly skinnier or his upper torso slightly wider. I feel like they could have done that. And like people are complaining about the back because you can see a lot of like robo bits and Dr. Doom's face here, and then this combiner waist piece. And it's not smooth and clean, I'll admit it. But again, it's not bugging me as much in hand as I thought it was going to. Maybe it's just the joy of a new toy. It could be, but like it really isn't. Like I said, like kind of like what I was saying with Starscream. I understand the complaints. I just, once I start playing with the toy, it kind of, a lot of those complaints melt away because I'm playing with a toy, and he's fun. So there's that. But me, GRIMLOCK, launch everything. Now he does also come with the Prime armor, the feet pieces. He's got little spikes on his to kind of match the hands, the same 3 toes. He comes with the Dinobot Enigma, which actually plugs in a lot more securely than you'd think. Getting it out is a little bit of a pain. The little tab here goes into the bottom of the foot very securely, but it's just a little silver Enigma with a red center. You can store in the foot or any of the hands, just like any of the Prime Masters. You can, again, this is his Prime armor, so you can attach a Prime. Grab some different ones. I keep grabbing a Vector Prime. And you can attach these, I think, right here to his legs in Dino mode, which looks silly. It gives him an even wider profile there. But that's about the only place they can attach here. He does have a couple of little Titan Master pegs here on his tail as well. So you can have somebody riding him back here. And up here as well. You can fold this up and have somebody peg in up there too. Come on there, Micronus. There we go. All right. So let's go ahead and transform into robot mode now. And it's not super difficult. If you've transformed to Grimlock, you've got a pretty basic idea of how this works. We'll go ahead and straighten his legs here. Flip up these two tail bits and plug them in. You can see it kind of automatically splits them. As you do that, then we'll come up here, lift his Dino mode head. It actually tabs into the core piece. You can actually open these and leave this tabbed in if you want. Doesn't matter what order you do them in, but open up that and flip his head back. And there's a little peg here on the back that this pegs onto, like that. Bring those around. These don't angle. Then instead of pulling this out and forward like the old transformation did, it actually comes out in half and comes up the sides and then tabs in up here. And then both in the back, there's a tab here on the back, and again, there's that tab on the thigh that it tabs into down here, and then the two pegs in the front. The Autobot symbol here is tampographed on his chest. There are some stickers, although again, this is mechanical detailing. This is gold paint. There's some mechanical detailing here on his wings, but the stickers aren't nearly as bad on him as they are on Starscream. Because I think even the Autobot... Oh, that one is a sticker. I thought that maybe that one was tampoed too. The eyes are tampoed. The Autobot symbol's a sticker. But again, they work for him more than I think they did on Starscream. Split his legs, and you got to get his hands out. And they give you a little tab to do it, but the friction joint is very tough. It takes a lot of effort to get it out. We're going to go to our trusty little spudger here to get these. I don't even know if the spudger's going to do it. There we go. Require a lot more force than I would prefer to get his hands to flip out. Maybe that's something that will ease up over time, but you really got to work to pry those things out of there. But there he is in his robot mode. Now he comes with, aside from the prime armor, he comes with no weapons. Like Starscream got his guns, he doesn't come with a sword or a gun or anything, which is a little disappointing, all told. I would have liked for him at least to have either his double-barreled gun or at least a sword, just something to give him a melee weapon. But, oh well. But yeah, here he is. He's also got a ball joint head that can look all around. Ratcheting joints there, as well as a hinge out on the arm. Bicep swivel. He does have dual hinged elbows, which is nice. It's mostly for the combine mode. He actually has a waist swivel. Ratcheting out hips up to the side as well as front to back. They're not as loud front to back, but they do ratchet. Really strong ratcheting knees. That's also the tail ratchet because that's his combiner port. And nothing in the feet, really. Here he is with his fellow Dinobots. Again, Slash, Slug, and Swoop. And again, looking good. Really making me desperate for the other two. They may be... I remember some original promo things look like Wave 2 of stuff was going to start hitting in April, but there's 4 waves of deluxes, and somebody pointed out that the deluxes themselves did not have release dates, so I've heard maybe as early as January we'll start seeing the Wave 2 deluxes, which would thrill me just to have all 5 of the Dinobots. I think I can be patient for the rest of what's coming at that point, but we'll see. But there he is, yeah, together with all of his Dino pals, and they, like I said, they really look nice as a group. I'm really looking forward to the other two. Also, he can, as a Voyager, they work a little better with him and with Starscream as well. I forgot to show him off. Oh, I popped that. Let's say what? Popped his little peg out there. But he can hold the Titan Masters or Prime Masters as weapons. And again, they work a little better on a Voyager. The bigger the figure, the more the more proportioned the gun modes look on these guys. And to go to torso mode, and there's a lot of variations on this one that we'll try to get through. You take him, you fold his hands. Actually, does hands stay? I think his hands do fold in. No, okay. On the initial version, you leave them out. There's some where you can fold them in, but so you take that. Like that, yeah, like that. So go ahead and fold his dinosaur head up. Come up here. Bring the arm out like this, and it should click all the way up. Here, you'll see there's a tab up here. Take this piece of the arm, fold it down and around, and it should what was a tab that clicked into it. Bring this whole thing down and around. Oh, that's, oh, you know, okay, whatever. But untab at the waist, bring it down. You can see these tabs on the front of his chest. That's going to tab in here. And rotate this around to the front. Fold his head down. He should fold in. He should fold in farther than that. All right, around this way. There we go, that's what it was. It's around this way, and then this tabs in. There's a tab here that tabs into this slot on the arm. I've got like 3 different fan combos in my head right there. So that locks in. The fist kind of fills in that gap between the foot and there. Straighten that out and bring it down. Rotate his legs so the tail goes to the inside, and then angle them so they're straight down. You can widen these as much as you want. Like I said, he's got really tight joints here in the legs, so he supports a good bit of the weight, depending on how you do it. So these come back here. These fold down, and there's a tab here that goes up into this, and that's going to lock these in place. Like that. You can open up his mouth. Like I said, you leave it folded down. I think it looks better like that. But you can open up his mouth, and it holds the Enigma of combination here. You just plug it in. So he's got it exposed as well. It does look silly sticking out from the front. But you can do that. You can also, again, plug in any prime there. Or much like Starscream, maybe Grimlock managed to beat Megatron. And you can wear any Titan Master or Megatron's head as a warning for what happens when you mess with Volcanicus. We're going to leave the combination in there. I'll take it out and show it off at the end, but my friend Scott specifically requested that we show off that sticking out of his face, so we'll do that for a few minutes. Flip this panel up, and then lift this panel up, and then when you just keep folding this down and tab it back into the neck, that's the same tab on the back. It flips up Volcanicus's head there. Then you fold that panel back down behind it, and now he's got his combiner mode head, which just swivels side to side. And that basically is torso mode. Now, it looks a little empty here, and even when combined mode it does it, but you can take, if you have 2 extra hands, and I do, which we'll explain in a minute, because I mentioned my Swoop's foot was cracked in the Starscream review, so on the way home I went and I found a Target that had like 3 cases of Deluxes out on the shelves, and I grabbed a replacement Swoop, and while doing so, I also went ahead and grabbed a replacement Slag, mostly so I could have 4 Dinobot hands. Because you can take those, there's a peg hole right under here, so if you want to fill in the torso, you have to plug the hand in. Now the hands only really work, you can either fold that up or down, it's really up to you. I like to fold it up because it kind of hides these holes in the torso where the body needs to transform, but it's entirely up to you how you want to have that thumb positioned. And this one just kind of has to stay flat. But it helps fill in the torso a little bit. You can even kind of flip the hand out just a smidge if you want. The fingers, I guess, is what I'm saying, to fill in some of that gap as well. And it doesn't affect his waist swivel at all. So we'll go ahead and attach these in here. Again, the other fan combinations don't really allow you access to this port. One, you might be able to shove them in there, but I'd be afraid that the stress would end up cracking the clear plastic with the gold paint on it. So only use these in the official combination. But it does help give him a squatter, broader torso, which we'll see when we bring in all the limbs to combine with him here. I have not found a way to incorporate slash yet. Maybe there's a way, but I have not figured it out yet. But so there's the base torso mode. And we'll take his feet. I thought about doing one of all four again on this one, but since I have 4 Dinobots, let's keep the color scheme going. So we'll give him a swoop leg and a slug leg. Like this. And they'll just slot right in. Again, very Combiners Wars-esque. It's the exact same connections, so just push that right in there. And then we'll come up here and we'll plug in another swoop and slug. On the opposite sides, we'll go ahead and take the hands, turn them into... You can also do the same thing as you can on Starscream, where you can take these and plug these into the heels as extra support. But since we're using 2 up here on the torso, I'm not going to do that right now. But we'll be able to do it when the last 2 come out. We will be able to do that. So bring his arm out like that. He's starting to swoop's not this. Should use maybe this swoop to support him because he was working earlier. Anyway, plug the hand in to the foot. Get the thumb around the proper way, and attach a swoop up. I just came undone. In here. Come on, tap to the other legs. And there you have an all Dinobot Volcanicus. Now, like I said, I think it works as a combiner a little better than I initially thought, especially with those torso pieces. It kind of gives them a squat look. Although, looking at it in person, it looks better than looking at him here on camera. When I'm looking at the camera, I'm just like, yeah, that's awkward. But, so yeah, we'll see. I don't know how often. Like I said, I really got these guys because I love the Dinobots, and I'm looking forward to completing the team. I don't know that I need all of them combined like this. And I do think it helps a little bit to widen the hips here. You can... The official mode has him standing a little straighter, and then without the fists, he's really skinny and it looks weird. This gives him at least a bulky bruiser type look to him. Also, now that we've shown him off with the Enigma in the mouth, this is what with his head folded down, I think also looks a little better too. So, yeah. I'll pop off the fists before we do everything else, just to show you how it looks without them. Because if you don't have the fists on... Oh, I'm putting the whole thing. It really... without the fists, it really makes those shoulders look like they're sitting way out from his body. You can see that gap just gets really bigger in here. And then if you also combine that with extending the legs to be more straight and not wide-hipped, it really kind of gives him a really waif-like waist. He's got big old bulky limbs and then no bulk in the torso to support it. So, like, I do like having the fists in there. Now, alt fan modes. There's a couple different ways to do it. I have seen one that doesn't even use the arm limbs. It has the 2 leg bots, and then you just have his hands hold these. But it's... You can pose them in a couple of poses and make it look neat, but for the most part, the hands are now at an awkward bend because it's like, here's his hand, and then you've got another hand sticking out of it like that. It's weird. But there are a couple alternate takes on how to arrange these. One, I'll go up for the high-shouldered version, which is basically you just unlock these and rotate this here, unpeg it and rotate it, and then bring this up and in, and just kind of close this down so you have a higher shoulder, which also kind of fills in this a little bit. And it works. Like I said, these, as I was saying on Twitter earlier, both of these alt modes, or alternate transformations, do work. But you can see the weight of them without... without the locking tab here in the shoulder, without these locking onto them, it does put a lot of weight on this gold plastic here in the middle and causes it to come untabbed. On top of the fact that, like, I just would be wary about putting that much stress constantly on that clear gold plastic. Now, it's up to you. Again, I don't know how many people are actually going to be leaving him in combined mode, but just be aware, like, you can do it. You can move, and while you've got this done, you can, as long as you hold on to this, you can move the arms and rotate and pose it, and it will stay together. It's not super floppy. It's not super loose. But if you try to move the arms without securing this piece, it is going to move this whole assembly. But for just standing and posing and putting it on a shelf, you can do that mode. Now, again, like I was saying, because of that, it brings the shoulders down in front of these peg holes for the hands, so you can't do this and also have the arm armor on. It just, this one just won't fit. The other one I saw had these come back behind here. These are folded around behind the body. Oh. And this one works a little better posing wise because at least this way, when you're doing it, again, it does not help with keeping this stuff pegged. You can see this is falling apart just moving it. But rotating it, the tab that originally was tabbed into that shoulder piece is now blocked by it. So going this way, it doesn't rotate much because the whole assembly is blocked by this fin piece. And if you want to rotate an arm forward, this whole thing doesn't move because this tab pushes up against this and locks it into place, which is a little bit more secure, just if you want to pose while he's combined. But neither one is ideal for locking. For, you know, if you really just want to play with him as a combiner, it doesn't lock very well. It also shifts his weight a lot. You might need, if you have them both folded behind the body, you might need those heel pieces to keep them from falling backward. But see, that was actually a knee issue with the swoop. But and that's this. That literally is just kind of folding these back here and sitting them behind the body. They're not pegged in at all. Proportion wise, it does help a little bit with the combined mode, but and I do think of the two fan mode configurations, I do like visually the look of this one more than the other one. It brings his shoulders down to a more natural level, I think. But like before, it's just putting a lot of stress here on this piece that is intended to unpeg and fold down, not unpeg and bend this way. So you could conceivably warp Grimlock's chest piece if you leave it in this configuration on the shelf for a good long while. And just for the heck of it, I'll go ahead and I'll do the since we're gonna have to take these off anyway, I'll do the just the 3-bot configuration, which was essentially this. Just bring this down, bring his arms down like this, and then take the robot hands and peg him into the fist like this, I think. Or maybe, I'm not sure how they got these pegged in now that I think about it. Maybe they're just barely pegged in because maybe it was like this. I don't know. So yeah, there's not really any good way to peg those hands in. I'm pretty sure they just kind of had them jerry-rigged, just peg in like this. Because, or maybe it was, no, that won't work. Maybe it was like this. Oh, maybe it was like this. Yeah, there we go. Plug them into the bottom of the hand from inside. And then rotate the arm in. So you can kind of do that, and that looks kind of proportional. Now with this way, you can actually, hold on, let me see if I can do it here. This one does leave those ports open, which means if you wanted to, you could fill in the body with the fists. I haven't looked at this, so let's give it a try real quick. there's one. Here's two. And then let's go ahead and put this fist back on. Okay, so yeah, I don't really think it enhances that mode at all. But just to check it out, there is the 3-bot combiner mode, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, there's GRIMLOCK as a Voyager. That was the Dinobot combiner. Pretty solid dude. Like I said, as GRIMLOCK, I think he's great. The combiner, as you can see, there's plenty of options for how you want to combine him that hopefully you'll see one of them you like. Again, anything other than the official mode is a little has issues, mostly just staying together. If you just want to put it on a shelf like that, it will probably hang together okay. But there is Voyager GRIMLOCK.